can you tell us about the play Juniper Blood?
Yes, so Juniper Blood is set on a farm in Oxfordshire. When a son inherits his family farm from his dad just dying, he and his partner decide to try a unconventional style of farming, one that kind of encourages ecosystems to thrive. But then when my character and his best friend come in, kind of like symbols of youth, they kind of disrupt their vision and kind of criticize traditional styles of farming and their new style of farming. And yeah, we have like conversations about the future and visions of the future and who should have a stake in the future.
Is it a spoiler to tell me what year it's set in?
No, so it's set in current year, uh, and then we kind of flip forward a few years. So we go from 2025 to 2.5 years in the future.
So it's basically almost like change, isn't it? It's like how young
Yeah,
people can really change the minds of the more mature people.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's what's interesting about the conversations we have with change in the future is like young people are so knowledgeable, as technology advances, we generations as we get younger have access to even more information. But there's balancing that with lived experience. So I think that is one of the interesting conversations that we have.
So you play the character Femi, which, as you said before, is one of the young people that come in to kind of change or switch things up a little bit on the farm.
Yeah.
What attracted you to the role of Femi?
I really liked the challenge of Femi. So Femi is his character. We've decided he's done an undergrad in English Lit or something. Yes, definitely something literature because he has a lot of literary references. He's so smart and he knows so much about farming as well. He seems to be one of those characters that knows a little about a lot. And so I was like, okay, first of all, that's a challenge to like learn as much as Femi knows. But secondly, they're very niche things. So, and he talks a lot. So my challenge was to understand, as any actor's challenge is to understand what their character knows so then they can develop the character even further. And I think because Femi knows so much, is just so intelligent and has such a good sense of self, even from the start of the play, I was like, yeah, that's a great challenge that I want to take on.
You said that you guys decided to do that. Is that
Yeah,
because it's a new play? Do you, as an actor, get some kind of flexibility in choosing a bit more about the
yeah.
character?
Yeah, so what's always fun for me is like scripts are like a puzzle in that the writer puts whatever is on the page, and we've had the writer in the room, so we have been able to like tweak some stuff. But the writer puts what's on the page, and then based on the clues, I can decide, oh, actually, I think he might have done a literary degree. I think he might have come from this background. Do you know what I mean? It's not all there, but I can decide that. And it's not necessarily useful for the audience to know, but it's useful for me to know.
Which is good because it's not like you're doing something like, I don't know, Shakespeare, just or something
Exactly.
where it's set in stone. You have no flexibility. You can kind of create little things in your mind. I can imagine it must be quite nice having the writer in the room because it's just a bit more changes could be made or what have you.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I always find it interesting having writers in the room because I assume that they have all of the answers. And sometimes we're getting stuck and we turn to the writer and what do you think? And sometimes they don't know. They're like, oh, let's figure it out together. But most of the time they're like, when I wrote it, I had this in mind. And it's like, oh, okay, this hazy thing that was unclear to me is immediately answered.
Going back to your character, Femi, is there a quality in Femi that you admire and also a quality in Femi that really frustrates you?
What I'll start with what frustrates me about Femi, is that he talks so much. Like he's one of those people that he can read the room, but I think he's very comfortable with social awkwardness. And so he'll tell characters about themselves. He like reels off all these facts and sometimes comes across as a bit irritating or arrogant. but that's also really lovable. I think it's quite an endearing quality about him because I think he values the truth
Mm.
more than anything else. And so it's one of the most irritating things about him. But what is irritating about him is what I love about him and his integrity. He really is like, I want a stake in my future. And this is what I think. I think
Mm.
also the fact that that's exemplified in the fact that he's the only black character in a completely white setting, and farming is, in the UK is historically a white setting, and he doesn't show up apologetically or I don't really know about this. He's like, no, this is what I think. Welcome to Femi.
I like that about Femi. And actually, interesting you says that he is the only black character. And you're right, farming is, especially in the UK, is
Mm,
predominantly, or very much so, a very much a white middle
mm,
class thing. So it's
mm.
interesting to actually hear and see how Femi takes farming on. Is it a challenge for Femi at any point?
Yeah, I've thought about this as well in thinking about his background based on the clues that were given in the text and what I've decided. I do think we see at first for Femi in the first act, as comfortable as he appears, I think he is putting on a face. Because ultimately, no matter how confident a person is, when we're meeting people for the first time, there is a sense of which side of me do I show? You're conscious of that, even if it's on a subconscious level. And so I think that is where we see the most difficulties for Femi. He's, I think, good at putting on a face and like covering up with, maybe he covers it up with his knowledge and throwing these facts that I know about people to hide his either his insecurities or fears or whatever they might be. And then also in the third act, I think we see his empathy a lot more and the difficult decisions that he has to make. Yeah.
Okay, so he kind of evolves as well as
Yeah,
the play goes
which
on.
is which is always, always, always nice. I never like to watch characters that stay in one place
Yeah.
because humans don't do that.
No, exactly, exactly. I totally agree. When audience members finish watching Juniper Blood, what's the one feeling or thought or hope that you would like to stay with them?
I would like people to maybe challenge their perception on things. When I first read the script, I got to the end and I was like, I don't know what I think. um yet. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay if people don't know what they think. But I think because the writing does a good job of having all of these characters with different views and they all argue their points of views really well, I would challenge people to challenge their own views of things that they might feel set in stone about. And they don't have to change their views, but just challenge their views.
Do you know what? It's important though, isn't it? That when you watch something, it almost makes you rethink or does challenge your views. It doesn't have to change them, but it does make you think about the views and the
Mm,
choices that you make,
exactly. Yeah.
which is really important. And is there a specific moment in the play that you're most proud to share with your audience and why?
Oh, specifically for Femi or the play?
Oh, it could be either. Maybe Femi, actually. Let's go. Let's keep with Femi.
Yes. I'm thinking, how do I say it without? So the Femi has a speech in the third act. And I think what I'm most looking forward to and most not afraid of, but aware of is that it is a criticism of some of the characters in the play, but also it's a criticism of some of the audience members that are going to come watch the play. I think Femi is one of the big symbols of youth in the play. And so in this speech, he does use generational views and divides a lot. And he critiques kind of all generations. And so I think that's something that I'm really proud of because I saw it on the page and was like, never going to be able to learn all of that or never going to be able to kind of do that piece justice. But I'm really happy to with where I've got with it.
Oh, okay. I'm going to look out for this. Is it quite a juicy monologue?
Yeah, it's quite juicy,
Okay,
yeah.
right. Nice. Love a juicy monologue. And also one that really gets everyone thinking, uh-oh, is this about me kind of thing.
Literally, yeah.
They're the best ones. And one more question about Femi is if you
Uh-huh.
had to give him one piece of advice that could change the course of the play for him, what would it be
Mm.
and why?
One piece of advice I would give to Femi is to listen and absorb more. Like I say, he kind of comes in with like as a bulldozer with all of his personality and knowledge and his vision of the future. But I don't think it should be underestimated. Um, experience. I don't think experience should be underestimated, and that's something that Femi doesn't have in the farming world. So I would say listen and absorb more.
The play, as we know, is about change. What's one change that you've made in your life or career that's had a big impact?
Oh, I think I've learned. Oh gosh, that's really deep. I think I've learned as I've got older. So the pandemic for me um, really brought me literally physically closer to my family. And I learned a lot from my parents. I think that was when I first saw them as humans outside of being parents. You know
Mm.
what I mean? I saw who they were as children and who they are as people. And one thing I learned about them, sounds random, is I've learned to the empathy from them and learned to love people how they want to be loved. And so I feel like I've taken that on in acting. Acting is always about empathy anyway, but I think that really has kind of turned up my empathy for whenever I'm acting or whenever I'm watching a play or a show or a TV.
Such an interesting thing because a few people I know have said something very similar to me in general during the lockdown because you're almost, it's wild to say forced, but it is for you're forced to now live in this bubble. And because of that, you have a moment to stop and just observe your loved ones around you.
Yeah.
You're right. You do see that you do remember actually, hold on, they were once a child. And
Mm.
like I don't know if you ever see some TikTok where they're always saying where they'll have like a parent and they'll be like, I've just learned that this is my mum's first time experiencing this too.
Experiencing life too, yeah. Yeah.
And we do totally forget that
Mm.
those kind of things, which I can imagine must really help when you're taking on roles because it does allow you to have a new kind of set of eyes and be even more empathetic towards the characters.
Absolutely. And I think like as humans, I'm sure none of us think that we are like a, a villain in our own story, right? Everyone does things for a reason, and I'm yet to play. I don't think any villainous characters, but I think even like I say, even when I'm watching something, it's always nice to see, even in the writing, why the antagonist has done something, why the hero, why the side characters, why anyone does anything, what motivates them. So yeah.
Would you like to play villain at all, ever?
I'd love to. I'd love to. I think I I am grateful for it, but I think my youthful like look makes me play like the more innocent um teenagers a lot of the time. And I'm like, teenagers can be
They can be villains.
villains.
Yeah. It can be the worst, especially the bullies in high school.
Yeah, he's so mean.
Yeah, exactly. Would it be if you had to play a villain, would it be more like a superhero kind of like those kind of villains?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I like I kind of like the more realistic.
Yes, like a
Uh,
thriller.
yeah, yes, I would love to be in a thriller. Would love that.
That would be so good. Or even like a horror, one of those ones where you'd never expected it.
Yeah, exactly. Would love that.
What I never see a lot of is thriller horror plays. They just don't exist.
Yeah, I feel like I've thought about this. I'm like, is it because it's you have fewer elements and fewer tricks in theatre? I don't know. I
Mm.
don't know if that's it.
I don't know. And it could be that actually, because everything is just as you see it, you can almost guess what's about to happen before it happens. Whereas in film, the suspense
Yeah,
is just,
yeah, and the literal angle can be wherever in film, whereas in theatre, it's a lot of the time it's fixed.
yes, yeah. You never know.
We'll
Maybe
make it
we need
happen.
to, yeah, exactly. I was going to ask you how you got into acting.
From primary school, really, I knew that, when you're a kid and you want to be like five different things each week when you grow up, I always wanted to be like three things, but then actor was always one of them. And we used to have like role playing sessions in primary school. And I just used to find it so fun, making people laugh and putting on different voices and being different people. And then I think from that, and then, we did plays in school. And then from that, my parents saw that I had a passion for performing and they sent me to performing arts school at the bottom of our road on weekends. I did that for a few years and then trained in musical theatre at university level. And then I kind of stumbled into it from then. I did a job whilst in college. I did a panto whilst in college. An agent discovered me in that, and then the rest was history.
Now that makes sense because I know you were in choir boy, and I was thinking, oh, I wonder if you trained in singing, but musical theatre, of course, would have been lots of singing
A
involved.
lot of singing, a
Yes.
lot of singing. It's interesting to me because um, if I could go back, I would have had a word with myself in my first year of musical theatre training. I was like, I don't want to do this. I just want to do like straight acting. I want to leave. I'm glad that I stuck with it because I've used so much of my training, my tools from training in my career in ways that I would never have expected to.
Do you find that because with musical theatre, I always think you need so much stamina because you're constantly dancing, singing, acting on stage.
Mhm.
Do you find that that's one tool that's really helps you when you're doing long
Yeah,
kind of production?
100%, 100%, because exactly it's the length of the show, what you have to do in the show, but also the length of the entire run. Especially if you're doing like a matinee and an evening performance on a day, like it can take a lot out of you. Even more so with musicals. I had not done a proper musical for years until last year. I did one and I hadn't danced in years either. And I was like watching all of the younger performers, a lot of them who had just graduated. And I was like, I don't know how you do it. And I'm not even that old, but I was like, I don't know how you do it and have such like energy after we say, okay, that's the end of the rehearsal day or that's the end of the scene. And they're still like full of energy and fizzing. And it did remind me of like the passion and excitement for like all of the possibilities for this job and whatever else might come after it. So yeah, stamina is definitely important.
Every time I watch musical theatre, I'm like, wow, I could
Yeah,
do
me
that.
too.
If you could describe Juniper Blood in 3 words, what would it be?
I'm laughing because whenever it's the three-word question, I'm always like, there's so many words. Um, I would say future, change, and hope.
Future, change, hope. Okay, nice. And that actually does sum up everything you said about Juniper Blood as well. It really does sound like
Mm,
it's all about the future. And, with change comes hopefully lots of hope.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I have some very quick 5 questions for you.
Mm.
So it's just whatever comes to your brain. The first one is your favorite theatre space.
Uh, auditorium.
Actually,
I'm an
you
actor. I should have said the stage.
no, but that's actually a really good one. And your favorite theatre show.
Choir boy.
Do you know what? Can I just say, I never got to see Choir Boy because it was in Bristol, and I'm
Bristol
such
it
a
was, yeah.
London
Honestly,
person.
same, same.
But
Bristol is what, yeah.
it's far.
It's yeah.
Can you bring that to London? Like honestly, I don't know why they
Mm.
haven't. Because
I don't know either. I would love. I know all of us would love to do it again. We would
Mm,
love to.
I heard big things about this play. Like every time everyone kept going on about it, I was like, shall I just get that ticket to
It's
Bristol?
no, I get it. It's far. It's hard to get to, especially if you're going for the evening show because you leave and have to run to the station to get the last train.
Yeah, and that was the problem for me. It was finding the time. Okay, yeah. but I can imagine it must have been absolutely phenomenal. Favorite theatre venue?
Young Vic.
Dream guest, someone you would love to see Juniper Blood, and they can be dead or alive.
I think all of my grandparents. Yeah.
Mm. Proudest career moment to date?
I'm gonna say it again, Choir Boy, because of I think what we found in the play and what the character taught me about myself and the friendships that I've made as well.
I can imagine you guys must have made lifelong friendships.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm living with one of them. Like I see them all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely love that. The person who's had the greatest impact on your career?
I would say Jeremy O'Harris.
Writer
His
Jeremy Harris.
yeah, yeah. His I got an opportunity to do his play Daddy, and I think that really put me at the forefront of some casting directors. I got into rooms that I wouldn't have before then. And so I'm always grateful for that play to kind of cement me in some people's minds who I want to be in.
Yes, that's exactly. And I saw Daddy actually. You were really good in Daddy. And
I
I
think.
must say, I remember thinking to myself, this play is because it's controversial in
Mhm.
many ways. Also, it's a play I've never like and nothing I've seen before with the set being so
Mm. Yeah.
but
Yeah, I read that and I was like, that's never gonna happen. They're never gonna get a Paul on stage. And then they
and
did.
they did. And that's the bit that is insane is that a whole pool on stage. I remember thinking, thank goodness I'm not sitting in the front because water splashing in my face.
Exactly.
I can imagine that you would get so it really will put you in the front of people's minds, which is important.
I hope so. That's the actor's hope, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Tariq, that is all of my questions for you this morning. Thank you so, so much.